resilient cryptography in quantum threats. Next please. The presentation layout is given as on the slide: problem statement, introduction, followed by cryptographic primitives in blockchain technology, and so on, and till conclusion. Next please. So navigating post-quantum blockchain, resilient cryptography in quantum threats. So the paper brings out how the current conventional method of blockchain architecture is threatened by quantum technology and more so quantum threats. Next please. Blockchain bans completely on cryptography. Next please. Blockchain imparts all its well-known characteristics. Next. With the help of cryptography, whether it is transparency, whether it is immutability, whether it is accountability, redundancy. Next. Till consensus, proof of work. The most important part in any blockchain is proof of work, and that bans heavily on cryptography. Next please. So traditional cryptography methods, whatever are being used for hashing, for encryption, till date until another 5-10 years, this cryptography will be able to handle the blockchain pretty much well. But what about when the quantum finally arrives? As advised by Dr. Day in the morning, we are well aware that by 2035, this quantum threat is inevitable. And when we say it is inevitable, we have to start our things right now. We have to start migrating, and we have to start thinking on those lines right now. Next please. So few of the well-known encryption hashing algorithms. Next please. Next. So all these all these encryption algorithms which are seen currently, they are all well proven and they are doing a fine job for last about 50-60 years. Currently they are doing everywhere: banking, encryption, online transactions, everywhere encryption is there, and they are doing a pretty much fine job without any breakage. But now now where is cryptography used in blockchain? For hashing, for key exchange, for public key infrastructure. So as I said, blockchain is completely banking upon cryptography, but with the arrival of quantum threats, there is a dilemma to it. Vulnerabilities of current cryptography in quantum. So there are two aspects which I have identified in the paper. One is the Shor algorithm, next, and another one is the Grover's algorithm. Next. So this basically brings out how Shor algorithm is actually hitting the factorization problem in the cryptography, where the Grover's thing is hitting on the search aspect. And please go back. Asymmetric is directly connected with the Shor algorithm, and symmetric with the Grover's algorithm. So asymmetric in Shor algorithm. Next please. Next. So asymmetric algorithms are more vulnerable to the quantum threats vis-a-vis symmetric. Next please. So thus, while this introduction part basically brings us to the fact that the emergence of quantum computing has raised concern about the future of blockchain technology if we keep working in the same aspects with the conventional cryptography as we do today. Next please. Foundations of cryptography, post-quantum cryptography. Next. Qubit, superposition, entanglement, quantum-based quantum algorithm, decoherence, quantum measurement. All these are the foundations of post-quantum cryptography, and the paper could not dwell much upon these because we are basically concerned about the blockchain part related to the quantum threat. Next please. So after a brief introduction of all these basic foundations, I moved ahead. Next please. Literature is the most important part here. Next. Reverse please. All the hash functions which are used for different blockchains, whether it is Bitcoin, whether it is Ethereum, whether it is Hyperledger, whether it is Quorum, whether it is Monero, all the hashing algorithms have been identified first of what exactly are the algorithms used in all these various blockchains. Next please. This basically brings out, this is a pretty detailed review of about 15 papers that I have taken for the literature review. Of these 15 papers, I have highlighted 4. Next please. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just give a brief detail of what these 4 papers relate to. Next please. Paper number 8, as I'll bring out in the references, a system design has been proposed wherein the voting system. Now there are a number of papers in blockchain which basically focus on voting, of how voting can be made transparent, made immutable, and made more secure and private. So most of the work is moving around this. Next please. Then the other word is the number of devices which are there on the Internet of Things. How blockchain is, the current architectures are failing. So most of the work, another part is, apart from voting, the other part which is majorly focusing is in the Internet of Things devices. Next please. So paper number 12 basically brings on the Grosvenor basis algorithms for better security and possible quantum threats. Next. Next please. Next please. This table brings out the primitive blockchain, the electrical cryptography, RSA, SHA, ECDSA, Mercury, proof of work. What are the vulnerabilities? So Shor algorithm and Grover algorithm I have identified from the multiple papers of what vulnerabilities exist against all these primitives. Next please. So what quantum attacks? So if vulnerability is Shor algorithm, it will be able to break easily ECC. Next, what impact does it make? Loss of transaction integrity, unauthorized access to funds potential. So each of these primitives, each of these applications which it hits, which is threatened. Now the applications, if we see the impact of blockchain security, it is basically null, absolutely null. Next. So when we start reading about PQC, the family of different mathematical models have given us introduction to multiple things, and of these lattice code, next please, 5 lattice code, multivariate hash and hypergeny based are the maximum things which are currently under progress, and currently most of the research work is currently under these progresses. Next, approaches of post-quantum cryptography. Now again, this is a small detailed literature review was made on what is what lattice hash code. Next, potential quantum replacement algorithm. Now after going through all these threads, if we are working on ECC, if we are working on ECDSA, in case we are working on Merkle trees, Patricia trees, so what are the alternatives which are currently in existence and currently are being worked upon, whether it is at draft stage or at practical stage, implementation stage. Next, so PQC mechanisms, performance and suitability for blockchain. Now all these lattice, multivariate, code, hash, I have got out the basic division of latency, throughput, energy consumption, scalability, and what kind of blockchain it suits to. So for example, I will just explain one. Lattice based moderate is latency. Latency is the throughput. Throughput is how blockchain is identified. In Bitcoin, today the transaction parts are about 5 to 7 transactions per second. Ethereum at 15 to 20 per second. Hyperledger is working on 1000 TPS. So that if we apply PQC, the post-quantum cryptography with lattice, the output is even more moderate. And similarly for scalability and suitable for public and permission blockchain, if we replace it with PQC. Next please. So the current state, next. So these next 4 slides, I'll just quickly go through. Round first, round second, round third, and round 4. Now these 4 rounds, next please. These 4 rounds basically move around what NIST has done for the world cryptography. Now how we can move or how we can migrate into the NIST PQC post-quantum algorithms. So third, fourth, yeah, this is the 4th one, and now I'll give you the summary of what exactly it brings out. 4th, next. Crystal Kyber, Crystal Dilithium, Falcon, and Spinix. So among these 4 which have been finally identified, only one is encryption. Rest 3 are digital signatures. Next please. So one is asymmetric encryption and rest 3 are digital signatures. So there is a lot more work which is required for asymmetric encryption. Now, when in the alternative, while Cyc algorithm was used, it was broken the next month, it was made final. So there is a whole lot of work which is currently on. Next. In addition, apart from NIST, German and IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force, is currently working on another number of algorithms on PQC. Next. Literature review summary. So the paper has explored 15 papers. Maximum demonstrations are limited to Ethereum blockchain and Quorum blockchain. QKD for quantum safe smart contracts. Mostly theoretical frameworks because the research labs are currently very limited in access, and whatever limited are there for IBM or Microsoft, they are at 128 qubit or 200 qubit. So similarly, these are all this basic summary. Next. Challenges. Next. So there are 5 challenges that I got out. performance and efficiency, interoperability and compatibility, security considerations, migration and current chip architecture. As on date, whether it is the router, whether it is the modem, whether it is any NIC card, they are all designed for the current state of cryptography, RSA or AES, etc. While we shift to PQC, while we think of shifting to migration to PQC, it is just or not going to be as simple that we simply shift, we change the software. No, it will be affecting a whole lot of hardware and API. That again has to be thought of. And the other thing is migration. Migration exactly is related to this. It is not going to be very easy. So that's a big challenge. And in case we are expecting TQ, quantum threads, quantum computer, universal quantum computer to arrive by 2035, I am sure we all will understand that as research domain guys, we have to start working towards what can be done to migrate, to actually adopt and to come up with any kind of PPP apart from banking on NIST and other global frameworks. Next. So conclusions, currently there is no immediate problem. So what we have got solution here, the solution is without a problem. Crypto agility, if something arrives, if some threat arrives, that cryptography algorithm has to be enabled, that it changes on its own. So that's crypto agility. Realization of threat by state, multiple states, even suppose in case we take our country only, UP is working on a Polygon blockchain, Maharashtra working on a hyperledger blockchain, Andhra working on a proprietary blockchain, all these states working on different blockchains, all these blockchains, if they are threatened by any kind of quantum threat later, how are they going to revive or how are they going to migrate? And at last, AI arrival spoils the scenario further. I have not discussed anything on AI, but AI basically spoils it more. So while we are perturbed about quantum threats, we have to also be perturbed about AI because each of these current domains are crossing each other. Next, please. These are the references, 25 references. Next. Thank you.
Worry I have to.
Sir.
One is very simple. I could not understand from your discussion that what is the worry you are having about blockchain with the advent of quantum computing.
Sir.
And second question, you would be able to give us a very clear good bad.
Sir.
What are the parameters for that?
Just please go back to the slide. Sir, the blockchain is completely banking upon conventional cryptography. When we have a chain of blocks, how are they connected? They are connected by cryptography. The hash of first block is there stored in the second block. So how is that being connected? Merkle tree. Now these Merkle trees are again, they are different hashes. Root hashes comes from different transaction hashes. So if all those hashes can be compromised, then each transaction is being signed by the user. Each transaction, when it is signed, again he is using his digital signature, public key, private key system. If that is compromised, so basically each and everything is compromised. And if a threat actor has got that quantum computer at his access, he will be able to do anything with the transaction. He can transfer my bitcoins to somebody else. It is just not a matter of bitcoins. If we are today shifting into NFTs, non-fungible tokens, they can be actually, the ownership can be changed. And that
It means he will be able to see the complete chain.
not just see, he will be able to manipulate, he will be able to edit it. That basically brings chaos. And the second, and second thing, these are the families. Currently, various mathematical models are used for lattice, multivariate, isogeny, hash space. There are multiple mathematical models. Now, all these mathematical models, if we are applying it on any blockchain, how good they are for latency, how good or bad they are for throughput, energy consumption. Energy consumption basically relates to the consensus proof of work. If we are using a proof of work like Bitcoin, of course the energy levels are going to be very high. If the consensus algorithm is something like Ethereum, the energy consumption will be less.
These are the core parameters.
Yes, sir.
And scalability.
Yes, sir.
How these parameters are measured for this?
Yes, sir. All these different research work papers that I have surveyed, from there I have taken the, yes, sir.
Any questions from audience? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Next.